On today's top story at Meet Matt Shep, we're talking about women and what we do and do not know about them. March is Women's History Month. This is that time of year where we celebrate the many contributions that women have made throughout our history and in our contemporary society. In today's video, we are going to celebrate the many women who are pioneers not only for other women, but for society in general. Louisa May Alcott, the writer of Little Women. Oprah Winfrey. Can we just take a beat? Okay. What? I agree. These women are all pioneers. But why don't we focus on people that we don't know? Like who? What if history is closer than you think? Okay. In 1973, there was a 18-year-old woman whose father worked at the United States Steel at Fairless Works location. He got her a job working there that summer, and she was one of the first women to ever work on the floor of the steel mill. She had to wear a hard hat and steel-toed boots and long-sleeve shirts and pants and safety goggles. The mill was steaming hot all the time. The first day she went to work, she came home in tears, begging her mom not to make her to have to go back to work the next day. And her mom said, "You don't have to go back if you really don't want to." But her father turned the corner and he said, "Oh, yes, you do." This woman, who was one of the first women to work in a steel mill on the floor, was my mom, Claire Shepard. While my mom may not be written in the history books, I think it's really important that during this month we take the time to recognize all women and the pivotal roles that they play in their individual lives, in the people around them, and the roles that they play collectively in the changing world that we live in. So today, I want to highlight the woman who is probably the most influential one in my life, and that's my mom. Against her parents' wishes, she married my father when she was 19 and they moved to Virginia. At 22, she became pregnant with my brother, Chris, and they had financial issues and they struggled. And she would buy used furniture for the nursery and she repainted all of it. She also helped my dad through seminary. When he was writing his thesis, she was the one that proofread and edited his paper sitting down at the kitchen table with him. After my older brother was born, she decided to stay at home and take care of her family. I was born when she was 29, and then my younger brother was born when she was 31. Through this period, she learned to cope with a lot of difficult things. She was struggling with my father's alcoholism and sobriety. She was the one who was in charge of moving our family every time my dad got a new appointment. And on top of this, as my dad was moving through his sobriety, she was also confronting her own struggles with her own mental health. When we were teenagers, my mom started to work again. She started working at the country store down the street from where we lived. And from there, she got a job that she worked for 20 years. She would work late nights and early mornings doing visual merchandise. At the same time, my younger brother's mental health was starting to deteriorate. He started to struggle with bipolar disorder and substance abuse. And so this entire time, my mom and my father were actively trying to find the best treatments for my brother, while also taking care of our family and working. 4 years ago, my younger brother lost his battle to mental health. And amongst the tears, the grief, and the strife, and as much as my mom didn't want to show up, I remember her telling me one day, she goes, "I still have a family to show up for." And it kept her going. And no mom should ever have to bury their own child. But she did it. And she did it with grace and dignity, while also taking care of the rest of the family to the best of her ability. And also helping to raise my niece. It was also around this time that my family moved to the final location that they'll probably get to spend the rest of their life in. And my mom loves it. It's the home that she's always wanted. And as much as I can read off a list of the things that my mom has done in the course of her life, the one thing that I am most grateful for that speaks to her character that is so much bigger than her as a woman, but to her as a human being, is her willingness and openness to have conversation. Her sense of humor with allowing me to make videos where I have a character of her. God bless her. While my mother and I can get into some pretty big debates and arguments about a lot of different things, she continues to show up. she continues to acknowledge and learn to acknowledge her parts in things. And I love her for that. And I respect her for that. Mom, thank you for being such an inspirational woman in my life, and now to a lot of other people that are now learning about you. I love you. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And in the comments below, please leave my mom a note, and I will make sure she gets to read every single thing that you guys say. Also, who's a woman in your life that you want to celebrate? Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you'll take this time this month to really appreciate Women's History Month for all the women in our lives and women we don't know who have had an impact on the world around us.